what was the most challenging part about making the movie for each of you?
Getting into that suit.
Hey, wait a minute.
Let's start rumors. We actually were inside the character.
Did they put the bugs inside of you with the suit? Wow.
It was an overlay. It was very complicated. It was a lot of...
Our first guest is an actor here to discuss the role of the unofficial calendar watcher of Halloween Town as the Wolfman. Please welcome Glenn Walters.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Happy All Hallows Eve.
Indeed, and to you as well, sir. How you doing?
Oh, I'm just doing just great. It's a beautiful day in San Francisco.
I must admit, here in my corner in Central Florida, it's a very mild day as well. So very nice. You mentioned you're going biking, and I may do the same when I'm done.
Yeah, it's my favorite thing to do.
Absolutely. So, and everything is well in your corner of the world?
Well, so far, no one I know has contracted the nasty virus yet. So keeping my fingers crossed.
Oh, and as are we all, sir. Well, thank you again for joining us. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here.
Pleasure to be here.
Our next guest is an actress whose body of work includes Monkey Bone, Hey Monster, Hands Off My City. Today, she joins us to discuss the roles of Ethan the Corpse Kid, Bertha the Corpse Mom, and Zelda Bourne the Little Witch. Please welcome Debi Durst.
Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, and in case you're on the other side of the world, good night. This is Halloween. Very exciting. I come to you from the other end of town, the other end of San Francisco, from where Glenn is. It's a beautiful day, and yeah, this is. I'm pretty excited. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
Absolutely. So glad to have you here. You were really a mover and shaker in the San Fran theater scene, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, I've been around long enough, so I'm kind of like the oldest vampires, Akasha and Ankil. I been here forever. There can be
indeed. Well, again, as we all do, looking forward to the day when theaters can get back into business.
Oh man, it's going to be a long time. I hope things can go because I've got it's been the year of the triple trifecta of doom. No theater, no comedy, and no baseball, really. So yeah, it's been tough.
Indeed. But the year's almost over, so figures. And today's Halloween. Today we got a supermoon. Today, a lot of people are thinking that this might reset the year to the original factory settings. So
I hope so. And the board goes back.
Indeed. And now our next guest is an actor and cabaret singer whose body of work includes an award-winning role in the original cast of Ain't Misbehavin', Torch Song Trilogy, and the series Sable, based on Mike Grell's comic book series John Sable Freelance. Today he joins us to talk about his role as the Oogie Boogie himself. Please welcome back Ken Page.
Hello!
Hey! Ken, so glad to have you back. How are you?
Well, I'm good. It was so funny because I had the times mixed up. So I was sitting with my legs crossed, having a cup of coffee, reading a magazine, and I got a text that it's 20 minutes from now. So I zuzzed everything, and here I am. But it's good. It kind of got my energy going. So glad to be here again. Good to see everybody. Hello, Debbie. Hello, Glenn.
Hey, Ken. Good to see you.
Thank you. Good to be seen, right?
Absolutely. So everything been holding up well in your corner of the world?
Yeah, I mean, as well as can be expected under all of the as aforementioned circumstances. But we're riding the wave, as it were, and all those other cliches. But so far, so good. That's how I put it. And with all hopes for the best on a full moon. So, and I believe in full moon. So here we go.
Hi! All right, and finally, he is an actor whose body of work includes Dog Day Afternoon, Fright Night, Child's Play, and an adorable forgotten movie called The Princess Bride. But today, he joins us to discuss his role as the speaking voice of the Pumpkin King himself, Jack Skellington. Please welcome back our friend Chris Sarandon.
Hello, everybody.
Hello!
Hi.
Hi. Hey, Glenn. Hi, Debbie. Hi, Kenneth. How are you?
Hello.
I feel like I should howl.
I know. Let's all howl.
Howling is very therapeutic.
It is very therapeutic. I feel better already.
And it opens up the vocal cords. We're all people who
Absolutely,
use our voices. So highly recommended. Just go out there tonight and just look up and go for it.
I really think I will, seriously.
Yeah,
Maybe out the window, but it'll do.
Okay.
all right. Hashtag Pumpkin Sing King says hell at the moon. We get that going. All right, Chris, welcome back. Always pleasure to have you here.
Thank you, Patty. Great to be here. It's a little
Boy.
chillier where I am than where you guys are, I guess. I'm in the Northeast. And I woke up to frost this morning at about 35. No, I'm sorry, 30, 31, 32 degrees when I got up this morning. And of course, the previous weather was in the 60s and 70s. So we're on the climate change roller coaster, and we might as well get used to it. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And fall fell, as they say. Yeah.
Yes, right.
Indeed. Well, gentlemen and lady, thank you for joining us here. As always, we look forward to the day when the world does get back to normal and we can bring you back on our physical stages and get you back in front of your fans. But in the meantime, welcome to the GalaxyCon virtual stage. And as always, it's a pleasure to have you all here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great to be here.
So our team right now is going through the chat room and pulling out the questions for that. In the meantime, I would like to just start off with, from each of you, what was your favorite memory of the production process of Nightmare?
Who wants to start?
sounds like you volunteered, Glenn.
You do. Go for it.
My favorite part was the food table. You know, when you're working on something like this, there's a lot of hang time, and they put out a pretty good food table. So, no, I'm just kidding. No, my favorite part was just meeting everybody that worked on the movie, and everyone was it was so interesting and fun to be around, and we had lots and lots of laughs, and that was just the camaraderie of the whole thing was my favorite part, I think.
So you must have worked with other actors?
Well, mostly with Debi and Greg Proops. So I had two of the best comedians in San Francisco to hang with, and that meant plenty of yucks. Plenty of yucks. I'm sorry, Greg isn't in on this. He's really a great guy and fun to be around.
Probably still asleep.
Probably, yeah.
Let's try to make it happen for next time.
You bet you should. Yeah, he's great.
Absolutely. So, when you're casting the part, did they give you anything? Okay, you're playing a werewolf, and that's kind of it, or did they see the designs?
Well, I actually mainly got hired for my singing because I've been a professional singer now for something like 58 years, and so when I auditioned, it was mostly because I could pick up all the. It was kind of weird music to just jump in on. And because of my experience, I just managed to just jump in on it. And I think that's mainly why Danny Elfman hired me to do it, was for the singing. But then the Wolfman part was kind of like, well, who do we get to play the Wolfman? And why not just have Glenn do it? Because it's really a very small part. There aren't very many lines, and so it didn't really require an actor, so to speak. So there I was.
How often do you get asked to say 364?
Not that often. You know, it's funny. I just for some reason the poster for the movie showed up on Facebook, and I passed it around to my friends, and I was surprised how many of my friends didn't realize I had done that I had been on the movie. Sometimes I'll sign my autograph 364, but actually not too many. The funny thing is I've been all around the world for doing singing, and I run into all kinds of people all over the world, young and old, who just love the movie. It just amazes me how long this movie's been popular and spread all over the world.
Absolutely. So
For good reason.
Yeah.
Well, my theory is that it was one of the last big animated films that used fairly unknown people, because after that, all the animated
Big
films
stars.
use big stars, and I think
True.
I think they don't age as well as they. If you think about all the Disney movies that used unknown people, and they've been around forever. So I don't know.
People to fill in their imagination,
Yeah,
and with
exactly.
stars, although it's great, if they're not popular, then they're not popular.
Well,
it sort of wanes with.
And also, you're looking at the cartoon character, and all you're seeing is that actor's face.
Yeah.
So it's. I just think it.
There's a unification, in someone's mind of that voice to that character. And Chris could certainly know about this, being often asked to, could you sing the song? And
fairly often.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine that anybody could have done it any better than Danny did. In fact, the other day, I just YouTubed him singing Jack's Lament and a couple of other things at a concert, and he was extraordinary. He was really amazing. His years as a rock band singer stood him in good stead because he's such a great performer too.
Absolutely.
Wonderful performer.
Yeah. So, Debbie, what was your favorite movie to come out of during the making of process?
The making of process. Good grief! Well, it would go way back to casting, I suppose. I was called in by a casting agent here in San Francisco, in the lovely Francis Ford Coppola building in North Beach, and the casting woman just kind of put this big book in front of me. And it had all of the drawings of all the characters. And I was known for doing, voices, like cartoon voices and stuff like that. And she says, you know what? Here's the book with all the characters in it. Oh, I'm out of coffee. I'll be right back. So she left me in the room with this big book. And I just started flipping through the pages and trying to figure out what voices, and stuff. And the corpse kid just kind of flew off the page at me. And I really enjoyed doing the audition. A, B, when I got the call back, I got to go. It was called San Francisco Studios, and it was this building downtown. And I walked in there, and the walls were covered with storyboards, just all the drawings that they had. And they started building them, big, huge, massive tables with all the little sets of the town and all kinds of. And I went, oh my God, this is huge and massive. So that was something. And I guess I did okay in the callback. And then the thing of it was stop action animation. We would go in and record, and it was just so great to watch a genius like Danny Elfman at work. And to hang out with some of the great voice actors that were working in LA at the time. And just to bond with them and hang out with Greg and Glenn and BTW. Greg Proops and I were the only people doing voice work who are not singers. So we were always panicked that we would come out just, that one off voice in the whole song. Yeah. But to see Danny go and pound something out on the piano that was in the studio and then go, okay, sing it like that. And everybody went, okay. And Greg and I would look at each other and go, I don't know. But that was a lot of fun. It was just fabulous. And then we would record things, and then it would be months before you heard from anybody again, because it was stop action animation. Took a lot of time. Oh, yeah. And Greg and I kept talking to each other like maybe they didn't like us and we're out. Are they going to call again? I don't know.
They were just busy.
The whole process was just so much fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And you, like I said, you did the Corpse Kid was your main character, but you also helped out with Corpse Mom and the Little Witch, correct?
Yeah, that is correct.
By the way, that casting director was Davia Nelson, and I think we should give her a shout out.
That's right.
She's one of the Kitchen Sisters.
That is correct.
We actually dated for a while. She's a wonderful
nepotism.
Yeah.
Rock and roll.
The casting couch. Good for you.
Yeah. You bet.
Yeah. Baby is fabulous. She's fabulous.
So Ken, how about you? What's your favorite recollection during the making of process?
Well, thinking of it, I think it might have also been, I would say the audition process, because when I went in, it was all through a lawyer and they were looking for a certain type. And most of my experience at the time had been doing Broadway shows. And I had done a show, as you mentioned, called Ain't Misbehavin', which was the music of Fats Waller, which was fairly similar to Cab Calloway's music, which is the type they were looking for vocally. Yeah. So when I went in, make a long story short, when I went in, I thought that they were looking for me to sing the song, you know. And when I got there, the song was, you know, fine, and that all seemed to work fair enough. And then they said, well, you know, this character, and like you, Debbie, they showed me all these pictures and things and so forth, the storyboards, and they said, well, what would you think his vocal, his character voice would be like? And I remembered answering, I said, well, somewhere between Bert Lahr in The Wizard of Oz and the voice of the demon in The Exorcist. And they and they just sort of looked at me like, and I said, that's what I would think. Chris has heard this 1,000 times. And I said, so if I go anywhere too far in any direction, they said, go, go, go. So I think the most fun for me was just the creative process of just jumping off the edge of the cliff and knowing they were going to make the choices in the end. So I could just do anything creative I wanted to, and I could take it as far on one end as I wanted and far on the other end. And of course, in the middle was my, I call it my hot sauce. That's what I put in the middle for Oogie, and let them choose. So it was really great fun just to get to play, which is what we all really do, behind the idea of it being an industry and a business, and let them make the decisions. Because a lot of times when we're on stage or film or whatever, we have to, well, film's a little bit different, but on stage specifically, we have to make that choice about that moment. And with this, you knew they were going to make the choice later, so you could really just, you know, fly and go for it. And I think that was the most fun. And mine was sort of at the end. I think Oogie was the last character that they animated. So it was way at the end of the process. And it was still like a year before I saw it or anything. But as far as having to come back and go back and forth, I did it all in one go round, which was great fun. So I think that's what I would say was my favorite part of the process in the beginning, was just the freedom.
Absolutely.
Creative freedom.
It raises an interesting point because Elfman certainly is a fan of Cab Calloway and that era. And anybody who's ever seen his film Forbidden Zone can definitely see that. A lot of homages to Cab Calloway and that era. So,
and the cartoons, I think it's Fleischman.
The Fleischer cartoons.
Fleischer. St. James Infirmary and so on and so on.
Yes, absolutely. That's excellent. And all right, Chris, bring us home. What was your favorite memory during the making of?
I have a variety of memories that sort of stick in my slow COVID brain at the moment. I don't have it, but obviously we're all in some way affected by it, not by as much as the people who have actually experienced it. But at any rate, I remember very vividly, as you guys do, who went into the studio in San Francisco, because I was flown up from LA once every 3 months or so. And when I walk in, that entryway filled with storyboards, which just kind of, you know, whoa, this is something really extraordinary. The second thing I remember very vividly is visiting the little sets, which were, as I recall, were they downstairs or sort of other spots in the building, but there were these little running sets, there were like 4 or 5 of them, as I recall. And watching the animators work, literally minuscule movement at a time, a frame at a time, that kind of work to me is so exacting and at the same time so extraordinarily creative in terms of what they end up with. And then the work with Henry in the studio, and unlike you guys, and I envy you for this, I only worked once with another actor. I only worked once with Catherine O'Hara. We did the Jack and Sally scenes, and other than that, I was by myself with Henry in the recording studio, basically doing things over and over and over again. But as Ken mentioned, this was a wonderfully kind of freeing creativity, because you could just, you know, Henry would say, okay, now do the line 5 times, however you want to do it. And you could just pop and go and fly and do whatever you wanted and know that they were making the choice. Exactly as you said, Ken. So those were the three things that were are still most vivid to me in the making of the picture.
Outstanding. That's nice to have that freedom to go, as opposed to no, do it like that, and just like the two.
Well, we got some of that too.
Well, yeah.
That sucked. Do it again.
Yes. No.
It was an actor's playroom, not an actor's utopia.
Yeah.
Well, how fabulous. What a great statement.
Well put.
Sounds like a book byline, doesn't it?
Indeed. We're just about to audience questions, but real quick, I just want to throw this one out for fun. What is crazier? Seeing you in action figure or Funko Pop form, or seeing your character tattooed on somebody's body?
Chris? Yes.
Tattoo, definitely.
Absolutely, tattoo. Chris and I had the experience of one of those signing things we did, remember? Of this woman who came and she wanted us to sign her body, our autographs. And then, and that day, to sign her body, and she was going to have our autographs tattooed on her body. And we both said, no, maybe not, But we've seen people with the tattoos all kinds of places, which they decide to show you, which is a little alarming in some cases. Right, Chris? Say, look, I have it. You go, no, don't show it to me.
No, yeah, it's definitely true. So, Glenn, Debbie, how about you?
Well, I've got an action figure from very early on. I don't know how long I've had it. It's actually you push his tail and his mouth opens, and he has a little bone.
Oh, could I say a line for that?
Yeah. And I noticed the last when I was signing some action figures recently, and they're way different. They're totally cartoonish now. Whereas the one I have looks exactly like the character
with the big heads.
Yeah.
But, these are the Funko Pop.
The one I have is very authentic looking, and but every time I have one of my nephews over, they always lose the little bone. They start playing with it, and then I have to look all over the house for the little bone.
Oh, gracious. Debbie, bring us home.
Geez, that there aren't really. I haven't seen anything. And the Funko Pop, I guess you call it, the little witch, because my character's not really. And then I run into people who are just rabid over the Corpse Kid, and I didn't even know he had a name until recently.
Yeah,
I had no idea he had a name. It was always Corpse Child.
Yep.
But it's just always like, and then you tell people, I'm in the film, and they go, "What? It's animated." It's like, there's voices, people. There's people doing the voices, and I'm in it. And if you wait until the very end, when all the last credits run through, you'll see my name. And then all I have to do is say Corpse Child, and people go, oh, drool, drool, drool. And it's just one of the most popular kids in all of stop action animation history, I think.
Ever seen a tattoo of any of your characters?
No, thank goodness. I would worry about somebody who had a tattoo of the Corpse Mom,
Fans, if you have one, please feel free to hashtag us and tag us on social media, GalaxyCon.com, if you have a tattoo of any of Debbie's alternate characters. And with that, I will invite Jude, our producer, to roll questions from our audience. And we're going to start off with Jennifer, who wants to settle the debate. Is Nightmare for Christmas a Halloween or Christmas movie? You may recuse yourself. I like it.
Well, I'll give you my answer, which is always the same. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. It's both.
It is a Halloween.
It really is both.
That's right.
There's not much to say about it. I mean, it is both. You start off with the Halloween and start showing it, and then it's also a Christmas movie. Yeah. I've never really seen anybody go, Easter Bunny. I think we'll have it as an Easter film. No, it really.
It's a niche group. It's a niche group.
Right.
Well, right now we're living the Nightmare Before Christmas. So
Indeed.
It's
And see, it continues to be relevant, right?
exactly.
well, I was Jennifer. I would say it's a pragmatic holiday film in the sense that you can put the decorations up this time of year and leave them up until after New Year's Eve.
There you go.
Saves a lot of time. Does 2 services. But Jennifer, it may not have been the answer you wanted, but we hope you got one anyway. Here, happy Halloween, and thank you for your question. And what do we have next? From Jasmine, what was the most challenging part about making the movie for each of you?
Getting into that suit.
Hey, wait a minute.
Let's start rumors. We actually were inside the character.
Did they put the bugs inside of you with the suit? Wow.
There was an overlay. It was very complicated. It was a lot of. No.
And for me, it was losing the weight.
and keeping the weight constant.
Yes, right.
Yes, right.
Because there were so many months in between.
At the table.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, for me, I don't read music all that well, and so I had to do a lot of just faking. Because I just have a good ear, so I could just hear it and sing it and pretend that I was reading the music.
Well, that it would be we would all be in the room together with Danny, and like I said, Greg and I not singers at all. So it's kind of like, okay, we know Glenn, we know he's a great singer. We've watched him for years. I'm just going to watch Glenn and see what he does and follow him.
Well, that could have been a real mistake.
I don't know. They kept asking us back.
Yeah. There you go.
Must be doing something right. So, very good. Anybody else got any war stories from the set?
I forgot the question.
No, what was the most challenging part?
Challenging part.
You said getting in the suit.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
I stick with that.
All right. Absolutely fair. Jasmine, thank you. That was a fun one. And here's your treat. Okay. And from Michael, what is your favorite song from the movie? Okay.
Oh, man.
Sally's song,
Yeah, Sally's song, I think.
which is such a moving lament. It's so sort of what's the word I want? It's a song of such loneliness and pain in many ways.
Plaintive.
Yeah.
Yeah, poignant.
Pathos.
I love This Is Halloween because it just really, I mean, it's I call it now, it's the Halloween song. There's songs for every other holiday, and they all are very specific and wonderfully rendered and so forth. But This Is Halloween is the official. I'm just saying it if anybody else doesn't feel that way.
Yeah.
But it's the official Halloween song because it really sums it up. It puts it all out there. It says, get in it. You know what I mean? This is Halloween. Don't you love it? All the things that I think all have collectively loved about Halloween over the years. The lyric, it's there, and it's in the music too. It's like a march, bum 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 bum, and you just kind of go along. And everybody who loves the film, which is just about everybody, knows the song and all the lyrics. I don't know the lyrics, but I every time I hear it, I think, wow, that really sums up Halloween. I remember as a kid going trick or treat. I think that was the song that was playing in my head, even though it didn't exist yet. You know.
Yeah.
And now they have one, so lucky they. You know.
Yeah, I'm with Ken there. I'm with Ken. That's my favorite song. And here's a little tidbit for you. We were in the studio recording This Is Halloween, and Danny was trying to come up with something for the very end. And Greg and I were standing off to the side, just doing what we do, messing around. And we were doing a little thing from like the Wizard of Oz. La 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 la. And Danny goes, "That's it!" Runs over to the piano and starts doing it. And that's how we came up with the very end of the la 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 Halloween, la 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 la. So it's, that's so of course my favorite song of the whole film. Although all of the songs are pretty dang good.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
It's really a brilliant score, isn't it? I mean, when the animation, of course, is breathtaking and wonderful and all that. But when you really listen to the score, and not just the songs, but the score, it's really beautiful. and very, very evocative and very musical as it would be. And it's just really, really, to hear it, as I have had fortune to hear it with an orchestra and everything, it's just beautiful. You don't realize all the nuances and subtleties that are there as far as the arrangements until you really hear the musicians playing it. It's great.
Yeah, it's just fabulous. And the very end of the film is really, it just gets me every time with the two of them up there. And
Yeah.
I recently had someone tell me that Sally's song was one of their favorite songs of all time, and they said it made them cry. And I thought, I went back to listen to it, and I thought, yeah, because I had never really just listened to that as a song.
Right.
And I did, and I went, yeah, that's a very, very poignant song.
Absolutely. And I would have to confess too that This Is Halloween is my favorite out of the whole bunch. And another thing about that song is that you're right. It sledgehammers the whole movie and everything you need to know within that song. There's not a lot of exposition where, we're going to travel this land, everything else. No, that song is a showcase of Halloween Town. It sets the tone. It sets up the whole movie in that one opening sequence. It's an incredible economy of storytelling. Song and animation.
Yeah.
A long time ago, I thought I came up with the idea of writing a song called Halloween Town because it's San Francisco. Of course, the Giants colors are orange and black. And Halloween is a big, big celebration in San Francisco, especially in the Castro district. And so I came up with the idea of writing a song, and I never really got around to it. I got a couple of verses of it. This is long before we did the movie. So I just thought I'd throw that in.
Hey, well, you're
time. Yep.
Yeah, I'm about to say, go ahead, put it together. If you put it on YouTube or something, let us know. We'll share it. Absolutely. Okay. And Michael, thank you very much for that question. And here is your treat. Happy Halloween. Okay. And next, from Brigitte, if you could live in any of the holiday worlds from the film, which would you choose?
Ooh. Provocative
Hmm.
wow.
It'll say a lot about us. Careful.
Gosh, Christmas Town looks like a lot of fun, but I think I belong in Halloween land. I really do.
Yeah.
I think Halloween, the Christmas towns seemed creepy to me.
I'm glad you said that because I swear, people always ask, what's the scariest character in Night Before Christmas? And I always say Santa Claus.
Santa Claus, yeah.
The design of Santa Claus, I think, is horrific. The big sort of the blobby sort of thing. I mean, he's got the voice and everything else, but yeah, I think that too. So
Yeah, I would say Halloween Town too. I mean, it's fun. Like I said, as a kid, my favorite holiday, and I mean, Christmas, you got gifts and everything, but at Halloween, you got candy, and we got to get off from. Say again, Chris?
And you got to dress up and play characters.
Yeah, which was our earliest form, probably, of what we were going to do later on some level, right? Yeah. And I loved it, and I waited all year for Halloween to come around. I love the time of year. And they would show us a movie at school. We'd get off of school after lunch and then go trick-or-treat later at night. And I just think if I had a choice to be somewhere, that would be like the eternal party, wouldn't it? I mean, Christmas is another thing. Thanksgiving is all about a turkey. So it's commercialized,
Yeah.
But I think Halloween would just be endless fun, I think.
Well, as far as the movie is concerned, certainly Halloween is the most appealing.
Yeah.
I think unquestionably. It's filled with so many wonderful, bizarre, and at the same time endearing characters that if that were the choice that I was given, I would certainly choose Halloween. But when I was a kid, it was Christmas. Christmas was the one that everybody looked forward to more than anything else. Just because you got things.
Yeah,
You got
stuff.
things.
You get stuff. They were gifts.
That's right.
now, as a grandfather, you're the one that gives things.
That's right.
You are Santa Claus.
Times 9. That's right.
So, Glenn, what door would you go through?
Oh, I definitely go to the Halloween Town. My memories of Christmas aren't all that great. We were pretty poor when I when I was growing up. And so Christmas, I don't know, it just kind of had a bittersweet sort of feel to it. I was never really that into it. But Halloween, I love because just for what everybody, the reasons everyone else said, just you could dress up, be whatever you wanted to, and go freak people out and turn over outhouses and, egg people and do all kinds of.
Is that anything like tipping cows?
Sort of.
Same basic idea, right?
Same basic
This is
idea.
a true story. When I was in high school, the seniors got together, the senior boys got together, and we stole an outhouse. We put it on a truck, and at like 3 o'clock in the morning, we planted it on the front steps of the high school. And when we arrived the next day in costume, because it was around Halloween, when we arrived the next day in costume, and it was weighted down with like 500 pounds of sandbags. I mean, we had it all. It was like a military operation, right? And when we got to school the next morning, and we're walking up the steps in our costumes, and we get there, and it was gone. That some citizen had ratted us out to the principal, and the principal called his minions in, and they removed it before there was any trace of it.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Hey, it might have been the people who went out to go into it. Where is the outhouse? Oh, it's over on the high school steps.
Who took my convenience?
Yes, exactly.
Thank you, Brigitte. And for my money's worth, I would be really curious to go into the tree with the shamrock door, just to see what St. Patrick's Day would look like through the prism of the art style.
I wondered about Thanksgiving as well.
That would be, and again, that poses the eternal question too of if they ever did a sequel and expose it, whatever, which is a loaded question. I won't go into, but yeah, that's what I do. But Brigitte, thank you though. That was a fun one. What do we have next? From Dave. If you could play any other character in the film, who would you choose?
I wanted to be the Oogie Boogie man. I did, because I'm a big fan of Fats Waller and that sort of singing myself, and so I was so jealous that Ken got to do that, because that's the one I wanted to do.
I lucked out. That's all. I lucked out.
Yeah.
You didn't luck out. You didn't luck out. I can't imagine anybody else. In due respect, Glenn, I can't imagine anybody else. I can't.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you. I always thought about that. What's the doctor's name? Doctor. Yeah. I always, when I saw the movie and have seen it subsequently, I always love his character. It's the voice, to be honest. You know, Bill Hickey, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And it has just a little. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
And I was just going to say it has just a little Betty Davis in it, which I always, and he goes, "Oh, Jack!" And I was thinking, it's so cool, you know.
But that was
I love that. I would have loved to have done something like that.
If you had ever seen any of his on-screen performances or stage performances, that was very much him. That was
It was. It was just, it had that almost cackly.
Yeah.
Who did that voice?
William Hickey.
Oh.
Yeah. If you look him up, you'll know who he is.
He's
If you ask for it,
was he in Fritzy's Honor, right?
Oh yeah.
Yes. Right.
Yes.
Have another cookie, my dear.
See, Betty Davis.
Yeah.
Have another cookie.
Debbie, if you could claim a character for your own.
Zero. I would love to be a flying dog, a ghost dog.
Oh.
Just, here's your lines.
You got it down, girl.
Great. One take. Here's your paycheck. Thank you.
Yeah, there you go.
Now bark 8 or 9 ways, and we'll decide which take to do.
Right.
Yeah, which take
Exactly.
to take. Yeah.
Absolutely. Chris, this is a weird question for you, but we'll ask it anyway. If you could take an extra role.
I think probably the character that most sort of piqued my interest when I watched it was the mayor that Glenn did such a great Glenn Shaddix, right?
Shaddix, yeah.
Yeah, it's such a wonderful, and just the fact of having a revolving head to me is such a wonderful way to play somebody. We all wish we had a revolving head, don't we?
Indeed.
So the binary nature of our characters. That one, I think, yeah, which also Glenn did such a brilliant job of.
Absolutely. Dave, thank you. Great question. Happy Halloween. Have a Snickers. Okay. And what do we have next? From Sophia. Oh, do you have a favorite quote from the movie? Which may not necessarily be your own character, but did you have a favorite quote that you enjoy?
Ow! There you go.
That's a good howl, let me tell you.
Yeah. Well,
Just enough throatiness. It's really good.
Skell got the chops.
yeah, it definitely probably would have to be There Goes Christmas. Because it fits in so many ways, especially this year. It's become a watchword kind of among me, my family, and friends when something goes awry, and you just go, "Well, there goes Christmas."
That's good.
I'll remember that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ken, you got a favorite line?
You know, I was thinking, I don't know if I do. I mean, I have to say, from the writing, a lot of Oogie's lines are really terrific, you know. I think the one that makes me laugh all the time, and it's a strange thing, but when they have Sally's leg sticking through the door fence or whatever, and he says, "Tickle, tickle, 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 tickle." That, for some reason, always gives me a little fun. Tickle, tickle, tickle. And you can use it in many occasions. I think that might be my favorite.
Don't go any further.
Don't go any. Come on, it's Halloween. I can tell.
Right?
Go for it.
Good point. Here you go. That's for you.
Yeah,
All
Kit
right,
Kat for you. There you go.
There you go. So. Chris, how about you?
Like Ken, I can't really think of any one single. Maybe the end of the poem song, "This Was Simply Meant to Be," is something that seems to resonate with a lot of people, particularly in romantic relationships. I get a lot of people who want me to repeat that line, even though I don't sing in the movie.
Yeah.
It's one of the ones that sort of stands out to me. It's part of a lovely lyric, by the way. But that whole song is quite beautiful.
Absolutely. I don't know if it's a lyric or a line, but when the vampires are doing the lament song, like, "Why won't he come out?" And then they're little parasols, and I call them parasols, not umbrellas. And then that shot of them blocking the sun and gliding away. That always tickles me. I love
that.
That much. Yes. Absolutely love it. And Sophia, thank you so much for that. Great question. And a reminder to our audience, if you'd like to chat with our panelists like I am now or purchase a personalized autograph, please sign up now at GalaxyCon.com. I think we have time for one more. So Jude, give us a really good one to close out on. And this comes, what is your favorite Halloween tradition? From Person Unknown.
From Person Unknown.
They were afraid to put their name on it.
Well, there aren't that many traditions, are there, except tricking or treating.
Right. Well, actually, when I was growing up, I had several cousins that lived nearby. So when my dad took us out, and my brother and my sister, we'd go out for Halloween. We'd stop at my cousin's house, and my dad would bring a little shot glass with him. And it was trick or drink. and he and my uncle would sit there. You know, we had one uncle like 3 blocks away, another cousins and their families were a couple other blocks away. So it was just a trick or drink.
Well, Halloween has always been a how shall I put this? The gay community has always been big on Halloween because for years it was the only time they got to dress up as anything they wanted to and not get arrested. So
Right.
here in San Francisco, the Castro district used to have the most incredible Halloween parties that would just blow your mind. And I don't know how many years ago, about 10, 15 years ago, there was a shooting. It just got too big and too many people were coming from out of town and just kind of making a mess of it. When it started out, well, I don't know when it started out, but in the early days, it was just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And then it just became kind of a
Kind of
free-for-all.
Bacchanal,
crazy
yeah.
time. I remember.
And then there was a shooting and they just closed the whole thing down. So they
Yeah.
really haven't done it in all those years now.
No,
But
one of the,
Very sorry to hear that.
That was a great tradition for some time.
That's fabulous. Coming from downtown back in the day when you could ride public transportation, Halloween, coming home from work and taking the train out,
Yeah.
and because I would take the line that went through the Castro, and just everybody getting onto the train. It was just such a happy, festive,
yeah.
and everybody was dressed up and.
Yeah.
Everybody was okay. We're going someplace and doing something, and it was like a real, funner than Christmas type thing.
Yeah.
Everyone
Yeah.
was on their way to
I
the
was,
party,
I
and
was
they were
there one year at Halloween in San Francisco. It was like, I want to say 79 maybe. And it was amazing. It was amazing because it was the first time I'd really seen it. New York has its gay-centric Halloween parade, and certainly back then it was even more operative. And then in LA, they had the Halloween parade and the big festival out in West Hollywood. And it, like San Francisco, I think, well, it's not going to happen this year, or last year, but it just got to be huge. It used to be the gay community did its thing, and there it was.
Right.
And then people started coming in to watch the gay community do their thing. And it started to morph and change. And there started to be violence and incidences and so forth. But the idea in the beginnings was absolute fun. I just got to get in the middle of it and just float along with the crowd,
I would add the caveat because, like here in Orlando and in South Florida, the gay communities as well that had very opulent businesses too. And you're right. A lot of people not in the LGBT equation would come by and kind of check it out. There were some moments like that too, but I would also say that I think that helped thin the walls, so to speak. I think those parties and those situations, I think that actually helped
Break down
people who might not have been necessarily comfortable with them in social situations to be all like, this is fun, this is great, wow, yeah, you people are fun, like American.
I agree. I think you're right. certainly in the evolution of it that happened for sure. And people found out that it wasn't as odd or strange as they thought. No more than they,
Exactly. It was. I think Halloween was a social unifier.
Yeah. And I think also people recognized that a lot of people in the gay community were really clever. Very, very clever. I mean, in costuming and things. I think my favorite I ever saw was a guy who had on like a nightstand and a table and lamp and a pack of cigarettes on it and everything. And he had this big box around him. And everybody would, of course, say, "What are you?" And he'd say, "I'm a one-night stand." Which went over very big with everybody.
Yeah.
I'm a one-night stand. Clever.
Absolutely. So, Chris, bring us home. Any favorite Halloween traditions?
Bring you home, except for the fact that I always remember looking forward to Halloween when I was a kid, and I still have a very indelible picture in my mind of my brother and I. My brother was like 6 years older. He's no longer with us, and I was dressed as Pinocchio, and he was dressed as a gypsy woman, and that was the kind of freedom it gave you when you were a kid.
Right.
And then when I grew up and had children, my kids couldn't understand why I didn't want to dress up. And they would say to me, "Daddy, why aren't you dressing up for Halloween?" And I would say to them, "Because I dress up for a living."
That's it.
That I do. I go to work every day, or whenever I work, I go to work, and I put on a costume, and I'm somebody else. So I don't feel the need to do it once a year because that's the only time that most people can do it.
Right.
So in a way, we're lucky. We get to do it all the time.
We get to have Halloween whenever we're lucky enough to be working, right? It's Halloween.
And you, of course, have already played an amazing vampire in your life, so in Fright Night, so absolutely. And Person Unknown, thank you for that. And GalaxyCon viewers, this has been my time with the cast of The Nightmare Before Christmas, but it absolutely does not have to be yours. If you'd like to chat with our guests or purchase a personalized autograph, please head over to GalaxyCon.com. And while you're there, please be sure to check out our schedule of upcoming events like this one. Gentlemen and lady, any final words for our audience before we go today?
Vote.
364.
Vote. For God's sake.
Vote.
Vote like your life depends on it, because it does.
It does, right?
Yes.
I don't think there's anything more important we could say other than that, is there?
Yeah.
Vote.
Amen, Debbie.
Absolutely. Gentlemen and ladies, it's been my absolute pleasure to serve you all today. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you to our audience for joining us, and thank you for those great questions. Have a happy and safe Halloween, and please keep washing those hands.